we get a big ho for our new secretary, Susana?
Oh.
Okay. So I would just like to ask our president and our treasurer, just for the record, if you do accept your positions to continue.
I do.
Ramon Morales, Ruben Bernardo?
I do.
Okay. Okay, we can move on to our next item agenda.
Excuse me. Can we go back to that question? I'd like to hear a confirmation from Brother King.
He did.
I just didn't hear it.
Oh, you mean right now when he asked you guys? Yeah.
When you asked him, did you confirm it for the record that you would accept that position?
Oh, I did.
Okay. I wasn't too sure.
Your name?
All right, thank you.
Yes. You can ask.
Okay, the votes carry for the people, but there is one other position that we did not discuss, and I apologize. We have something called co-counsel, and what that is a person who is not a board member, but works very closely with the board. In this case, I'd like to nominate David Alvarez Jr. as our co-counsel. He's done a tremendous job in getting all of this together. And we just, I can't praise him enough. So if there's any opposition to that, I would like to nominate David Alvarez Jr. as our co-counsel for the Board of Gudia.
I remember all the second.
This is within the bylaws too. Okay.
Any discussion?
This is the one with the age requirement. Okay.
I'd like to say something. It's important not only that we keep the current members who are in these positions, but it's also important that we have future generations stepping up to maintain tradition here. And it's good to see that David Jr. has stepped up and put the amount of work, love, patience, sacrifice, and time into what's going on here and to make things correct. And the fact that he not only good with as far as the paperwork and organization skills and the experience in student government at college, it's also good that he's with the medicine and he's with tradition, which is also something that we're here for. It's the main reason why we're here. And it's good that this young brother's taking over and say it's a good thing that he's got this position.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing no further discussion, I'd like to move for a vote to appoint David Alvarez Jr. to co-counsel. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. Any that oppose, please raise your hand. All right. Unanimous decision that I sit as co-counsel.
But who looks big and fat? You or Junior? No, I'm just messing.
Yes, I do accept. Okay, moving forward, our third item on the agenda, appointment of council to establish quiet title action. Julio, can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So, as I stated earlier, I work for Attorney James Drake, and I'm here on behalf of James Drake Legal and Financial Group. We have been working closely with Little David, Tiffany, and Ramon on a similar but separate legal action that's been placed on this land as well. The quiet title action, we're familiar with this land. We're here in good faith to meet you, to be in person, to show our face to the community. From our point of view, we see it as a little bit of a land grab, a way to take away what you have established here, your customs over 40 years. You know, what Ramon and what David and what your community has built up is being threatened right now by somebody who was once welcomed onto this land, has now overstayed their welcome, and has unscrupulously now trying to pull the rug out from under you and make a claim to the same land that you've been coming to forever. They want to change the description of the land and maybe even sell part or all of it for their own selfish motives or gain. Nothing for the community, nothing to maintain the status quo that you're accustomed to. We feel privileged and honored to be allowed at this meeting, and we would hope and ask and humbly request that you would consider our law firm as your counsel to represent you going forward. This motion is to hire James Drake Legal Group to move forward on the quiet title action, as we're familiar with the case and we're invested, and we feel that we can strongly represent you and continue with the customs, with the new officers, and help preserve the traditions of the past, and yet look forward to continuing traditions of the future.
Oh.
Can I entertain a motion to appoint counsel of Drake Legal Service to represent us as their counsel?
By David Alvarez, motion that we accept they're willing to work with us in a legal way to represent us.
Is there any discussion?
So I understand this correctly. This is a separate case from the eviction.
That is correct.
So what will this new case actually cost?
That's a great question. That is a great question. So, because we are also working with the eviction, we do have sliding scale costs. Our initial assessment of this case is going to be about $5,000. Just so everybody is informed, we've had a legal court call on Friday, I believe it was, correct?
Yes.
Where we were fighting the eviction, and the opposing counsel, who actually has their law office like 3 blocks away, threatened us and threatened to take us to the state bar for doing everything correctly legal within our rights, within, you know, our scope of our job. And we feel that the reason they're fighting so aggressively is because they are down the road and they may have some selfish proprietary interest in your land. I think it's too coincidental that they live down the block. They could drive up here, they can survey your land, they could look at Zillow, see what it's really worth, see its actual value, but not value it in the way that you do. And this has already begun to become a fight. So our initial assessment of this case is $5,000, but you know, it's not something that we would need all at once. We can accept payments and are willing to work with the community, you know, come up with ideas for fundraisers so that we can have a monthly payment plan going forward that's affordable, that won't burden or detriment anyone here. Our goal is to continue another 40, 100 years of this going forward, and we realize that, you know, not everybody has 5 or 10 grand in the bank. You know, I come from a working class community. You know, I didn't start off, you know, in the legal field, and neither did Attorney James Drake. And we stay strong to our commitment of being accessible and legally accessible to communities of people like us, of people who struggle but want justice, yet hold true to, you know, their morals. And based off of that, you know, we are willing to go forward with, you know, less than half to start, and go forward on a monthly payment plan to the end of this case, to its resolution. And please, if anybody has any questions, we can talk. Even after the meeting's adjourned, I have a retainer with the contractual language that everyone can read, and I'll explain, so that we're all, you know, on the same page, and we're completely as transparent as can be, so there's no surprises. Yes.
Is there any, would the plan to stop the eviction and to stop
the taking of the land, is there anywhere in there that would provide protection for our elder, so that nobody else can, come in and do the same thing, like a legal document that he is?
We are learning that the bylaws should probably be rewritten at a later time. There are things that you can draft in your constitution to protect your elders, which aren't there. Mr. Ron here has identified some things that you can utilize to implement in your bylaws to protect, your elders and your future board of directors from this happening again. However, our immediate concern is now. So that is correct. You can change the language. You can add to the language after a meeting and after the proper parliamentary procedures, which we would suggest you do, so that this does not happen again. So yes, but I think that's like probably step 3 at a later.
I know this is like priority.
Yes. And that's a priority as well, because we don't want it to happen again. You don't want to have to hire another attorney 10 years from now. We want to never have this happen again. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Is there already something set up or starting to be set up in place, so for those who are out of town can just donate to that fund?
I believe maybe little David can.
Yeah, we can get set up a GoFundMe page or something like that.
Okay.
So that we can, and we're gonna work with them to put a credit card on file, and we can just use that as a means of payment.
Okay.
Or do you
If
have
that works, I'm not sure.
Well, we can. There are many different ways to eat an apple.
He brings in the food.
I do bring in the food because I love cats. So we're using this analogy here. We can do something on a social media platform and try to solicit, to other tribes in the state and outside of the state. A popular site would be a GoFundMe. I'm not sure how the community feels about putting so much of their personal information out, but it is a resource that sort of has a mass sort of group appeal. Alternatively, we can establish a treasurer here, somebody that we trust to collect the funds and, be our point of contact within the Budong group to, collect funds and, continue to go forward on the case. Or we can get everyone's email address and give you our LawPay link or our IOTA bank account, and if ever you feel like wanting to go and deposit into the trust, you would deposit the money either via cash or check or text message us. Probably check would be the best. So in the memo line, you can write for the Bodon Center, and wherever there's a Wells Fargo, you could deposit the money into the trust. We'll know who the check comes from, and we'll let the board members and David Jr. know, so that, if you wish to remain anonymous, of course you can. If you would like to know, where the funds are coming from, then, we can disclose that as well. But that is something that, the community can organize. There are many more options, to pay. So we're not just restricted to one means. Yes.
Is there, because it is a nonprofit organization, would we be allowed to use that money as a donation?
Yes.
Something that I can write off on my business
Yes.
at the end of the year?
Yes, absolutely. I for those of you that are considering using it as a tax write-off, also James Drake Legal and Financial would advise that you also seek a CPA or accountant at the end of the year to do your taxes when you do that, because we're a law firm, not an accounting and tax firm. So I just want to make that very clear. But if it is nonprofit, then we do have that.
As long as we get a receipt is my
Yes,
concern.
of course. Yes, you will absolutely get a receipt. Are there any other questions?
Any other questions, discussion? Now's the time to ask.
I just want to add something. Because I have a question. Would you be able to appoint someone like the treasurer to collect funds on the center's behalf? And then that way it can kind of circumvent the whole, as far as getting a tax write-off form, because then we're not giving money directly to you guys, we're giving it to the organization, and they're using that fund they collected by donation to pay for the law services with that. The easier way to go about that.
I think if there's one point of contact for this large of a group, that could be a lot easier as well, so that we're not getting like 20 different phone calls coming in. Yeah. We trust the Budan tribe and community here, and if you were to appoint someone and place us in contact with them, then that's who we're going to go to. And as long as funds are being paid, you have appointed somebody, and things are consistent and regular, that is fine. Yes, ma'am.
Who's your connection now with the other thing?
That's Attorney James Drake.
Okay, but no, who's your connection to the Budan community?
Me right now.
Just
Me and
you?
Tiffany.
We could definitely continue. With the both of us, we have been actually in communication for several months now. If you, I don't know how many hats you would like to wear. You've just been appointed a new position here, but if I will trust the decision of you. Yes, we have been working together. So as far as like moving things along and speeding things up, if the community trusts to, in your board here, which from your ununanimous vote, I presume they do, then we can definitely continue that way as well. Yes, sir.
Just curious, how do you see this playing out, knowing what you guys know now and what case you have to present to their lawyer? Do you see this working itself out with just lawyers, or do you think it's going to go on to court and all that?
Well, I think there's 80 acres here. This is untouched, pure land that has a history preceding it in that it's Native American Peace Sanctuary land. That in and of itself is a market. I know that the two lawyers who are here conveniently within 2 miles range. That to me is too coincidental. I'm not from this community. I've driven through town for my first time. I don't know how much action a couple lawyers could get here. It seems like this is their big fish and take it out of here, or to build and grow. I'm not sure that they're going to be a pushover. I think they're going to want to fight, but I don't think that they have the facts to go forward on a fight. So do I think it'll go to trial? Yeah. Do I think they're going to win? No. I can't guarantee an outcome. No attorney can. But based on who we have here, by a show of hands, if we needed somebody to come to court in Madera to help Brother Ramon, can we have a carpool? Can we go? And that's the confidence that reassures me of how we'll do in court. Your board has been here for 40 years. Their board has been here, what, 10 months? 8 months?
2 years.
2 years?
Well, actually, legally, they didn't file their SI 100 until December of 2017.
Okay, so like I said, they've been de facto, they've been illegitimate, they've been posers. These are imposters using the same name and title and claim here. I don't. They can posture and they can huff and puff, but the law is the law. We followed the rules, they didn't, and procedurally, that will win the day. That is how we feel about the case.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear.
Since I became a city slicker again, I found out that there's developers looking at okras to start growing.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me at all. I don't have to tell you the story of people losing their land from overstayed and overwelcome guests. I know you do. I'm Puerto Rican. My whole island is gone. I know.
What's interesting to me, just on the note of the board, two of the women that were on the board, Roxanne Mulvey and Marcia Kamea Cross, according to Marcia Hunter, Estrada, they're not even on the board. So it's almost like a hostile takeover by Marcia Estrada, or Marcia Hunter Estrada.
Well, then
she worked her way in, she got on the board, she removed everybody from the board, and now she's, in her world, the only person on the board that's originally part of that board.
Well, in our
so
world,
that's
in
very
our
suspicious.
Well, in our world, I don't foresee her getting too far on that, and I think that the community, you know, has a unified, you know, interest in preserving its culture, and I think it showed here today.
How strong is our position with the corporation laws that were cited in our first agenda about removing them from the board?
Did we, Ron? Were they procedurally ousted correctly?
Yes, procedure was correct. Yes,
And
that's
they-
not a legally. I don't know, but
The-
procedurally, yes.
And they did receive notice. We know they received notice because they sent us a very, you know,
Oh, the
nasty
cease and
demand-
desist.
a cease and desist letter.
I
And
received one too.
And so you know, that cease and desist letter states that there would be criminal charges, but it does not specifically state what criminal charges.
Right.
So, and they're not prosecutors. So I just want to let you know that if they're going to huff, puff, and posture with empty blank threats, okay, fine. We have facts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask about that letter that was being sent.
Of course.
So, like, Keith Turner had received a call from their attorney, which is, I don't remember the name.
Ms. Hannah McGoldrick.
Yes, from them. And yesterday he received a call. They left it on the voicemail wanting his information. So, and I kind of thought it was for him to get one of them letters too. So, because he's, you know, part of the people here that's standing up for the land. And so I just wanted to say, when they're approached like that, because I was like, oh, ignore that, you know, don't give them any info or anything. Is that what everybody should ignore that?
I don't feel, unless they're suing you, I don't feel that you have to really talk to them.
Don't have to receive.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if they really wanted you, then they're going to sue you, and in which case you call us up. You know, I would like everyone's email address here. I didn't want to print out a ream of paper, so I printed out one general retainer contract. I apologize. It says the date for payment will be August 18th. I believe today is August 18th.
We do have a payment for you.
Okay, so I'm going to pen and ink whatever that payment is, and it will be deducted from the remaining $5,000 balance. So that is on there, and we are going to scan and email this to everyone, and be a little paper conscious and cost effective. So I did bring one form here, but everybody, please, legibly and in big letters, write out your email address so that I won't have any typos. And if I'm missing some, I'll be in contact with Tiffany and David. You know, or if anybody didn't get one within today's Saturday. See, we work on Saturdays. If anyone doesn't get their retainers a week from today, by next Saturday, please let us know. It might mean that the email address wasn't legible, or you know, we didn't get it. But everybody will be getting their copy of the retainer contract agreement for this group. Yes, sir.
Rene Salcedo Stockton. And in case anybody's wondering if $5,000 for this is it a lot or not, I got an immigration case in San Francisco, and $5,000 is what they charged me. So what they're doing here for the community, it's a giveaway, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to let you know that's because James Drake and Tiffany have known each other for 12 years. So as a friendship of growing up, we came out that for that favorable preferred rate. So thank you for that.
Thank you. So for time's sake, do we have any further discussion on this matter of the appointment of council to establish quiet title action? seeing that there's no further discussion, can I get a vote? All those that are in favor of appointing Drake Legal Service as our counsel to represent us, raise your hand, please. Thank you.
There was a motion made. There was a motion made for me. Who seconded it?
Oh yeah, motion and second.
Was there a motion? Was there a second on that?
Yeah, I'll second it.
I raised the motion and she seconded it.
Got a second? Yeah, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. Any of those that are opposed to the motion, please raise your hand. Okay. This is a unanimous decision. The appointment of counsel to establish by title action passes. Thank you. Any announcements?
I want to say something. I believe to all of us who have participated in the past and up to now, this is like it's like an ordeal, because we have to deal with these people that say they're with us, but they do things that are not like us. I know there's a lot of stress at points, and I thank everybody for supporting, for standing there and just doing something with it, you know, like the land is not only for me, it's for everybody. It all gets something from the land. Suzanne, do you have that mission and vision statement?
I have it in the car. I'll go get it.
I'd like to read the mission and vision statement, because it says it all on what we do here. But I'd like to thank everybody, the ones that are here and the ones that are not here, that have supported all this time, because over the years, there's been a lot of people passing through here. I mean, a lot of people. And for this land not to be here for the people, I just don't, it'd be the awfulest thing I can come up with, or thought. It'd be just tremendously awful. And because this land has been open to the people for so long, and it's